What's going on, everyone? In front of me, I have some new friends. They're from a company. I'm not going to tell you what company they're from.
Top secret.
You may be able to figure it out pretty quickly, except for this guy. He looks kind of like Super Mario Brothers going on there. However, they are from a company and a great supporter of my channel, so I definitely got to give a big shout out to the folks from Lippert. They came down, flew down. What temperature was it up there? Like 40 degrees?
Probably in 40s this morning.
Yeah.
Not warm.
Times 2.5, and you're here, and plus some hot water poured on you, and you got the humidity you need. So, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They're from Lippert, obviously. Start right here.
Hey guys, I'm Tanya. I'm working with the Lippert Scouts team, and we are down here to do a bunch of different installs actually on the coach, starting with the OneControl system with our Unity boards. So this is going to allow JD to be able to operate different things on his coach, not only through the normal wall switches like he already can, but through his digital OneControl system.
Very cool. Next.
Hi everybody, my name is Wes Brigham. I work with the electronics division that makes these Unity products, so I'm just here to help support Tanya on the install, make sure everything goes smooth.
Oh, so you're going to make her do everything and you're just supporting her while she does it.
Supervisor.
Makes perfect sense.
I am Ryan Zerfus. I am the influencer marketing manager at Lippert. I am even more hands-off, so really throwing it to Tanya on this one. I'm just here for the looks.
There's a lot of pressure on you right now to make this one work out well. All right, so in front of us, we have the Unity board. They also call it, what, the XO and X1? That's like the top secret code name, right?
Yes.
So
One has more superpowers than the other.
yeah,
So.
this one's always jealous of this one. Someday hoping to be this one. All right, so what do these boards do? How do they specifically operate? Like, what are you doing? And the reason why I ask this, as a way to preface that question, is my coach has a OneControl touch panel that does virtually nothing except operate my leveling system. And it actually came in handy because I needed to recalibrate it and re-zero it, and I figured it all out by watching a YouTube video. But it does nothing else other than that, which is really sad because it's just up there. It's like having a big TV that only puts on C-SPAN, right? You want it to do more, you just can't. So these are going to give y'all the ability to, or give me the ability to control many more things through that panel as well as my smartphone, right? Is that what we're trying to do here? Now, will it eliminate the manual controls that are there, or, I mean, what's going to happen to those?
They'll still be completely functional, so this will be in addition to. So if you want to walk in and just press a switch, you can do that. If you want to use the touchscreen, you can do that. If you wanted to be outside and watch your awning as it comes out, you can use your smart device and do it that way.
Oh, great. So with this system, it essentially acts as a pass-through, right? You take your power leads coming into it, and then it goes out to whatever it's controlling. And it, I guess, pulls power directly from the battery or from the fuse panel. How is it going to be wired in from that perspective?
We'll wire it into the fuse panel, and then basically we're just going to interrupt the switch wires that are already in there from your switch to your awnings, your lights, your slides. So the board will take the signal that's coming from the switch, and that will tell it to turn it on, turn it off, extend, retract, all of those things.
Okay. And something else that's kind of actually funny about this is they told me they actually went to the Coachman facility and went down the line so they could get familiarized with the wiring on one of these, just to find out that this is a prototype concept unit and everything was completely different.
Yeah.
Nope.
So that's kind of funny.
Everything at the plant was straight down, nice straight shot, open area at the bottom, and yours is about like this.
Yeah, it's I told them I want to be able to sell it and sell the copper wire as extra profit, so they gave me about 300 yards of extra copper wire. Let's say somebody watching the channel, they want to do this exact same upgrade to their RV.
Unfortunately, we don't offer it as an aftermarket upgrade currently, just because it is so labor intensive to come in and do it after the fact.
Okay.
So this is something special just for you.
Well, we appreciate that. And more importantly, it kind of shows the guts behind the glory, right? It shows you what all of this stuff has to do in order to be controlled remotely. Some people sometimes, I think, simplify things in their mind whenever they look at something. They just see it work, but they don't see the wiring and everything that has to be done on the back end to make it work. So I really appreciate it. There's so much stuff on this RV that is Lippert. The door, the screen door, the thing that protects the screen door from my little dog tearing it up, the friction hinge, the furniture. What else? I mean, we got the road armor suspension, the shackle, the chat. Oh yeah, the whole frame, pretty much. I think all the dual pane windows, I think they're also Lippert. I saw the little tag on the corner, so I cheated.
As a matter of fact, the leveling was another thing we hadn't talked about.
Ground
yet,
control,
but
yeah.
While we're adding these into the system, it's going to be added into the current system you already have. So now you'll have control of your leveling from your phone as well.
That is very cool. That is very cool. Oh yeah, and we're going to be adding, I think, the tire pressure monitoring system as well.
TireLink and Floe drain valve.
The flow drain. So that is the winterization system that essentially pumps out any liquid from your lines. So it's just easier and quicker to winterize, especially if you are down here in South Texas where we have these Arctic freezes all the time, and it drops to below zero and everything dies. While you were driving through town, you probably saw all our dead palm trees. Yeah, that was from our Arctic freeze, by the way. Anyways, let's kick this off. I'm not going to follow the entire step, otherwise I'll be hovering over them with the camera the whole time, and they don't deserve that. So we're going to let them do their thing, and we'll follow along and give you some nice little shots of what's going on. And hopefully if these are in a visible area when we're done, I can show you all the wires plugged into it, so you know never touch these things if you see them. Anyways, let's get on with it. So here are the main wires that are going up to the control panel, and the system that they're using essentially will act as kind of a pass-through. The wires coming from the battery go into it, and then the wires coming out of it go to the control panel or the slide itself. So this is a really cool way, and they've done this before. They have actually integrated this OneControl system into other RVs, just they've never done it out in the field, so this is going to be kind of a first for them as well. Okay, so they have the Unity controllers mounted up here. Nice, out of the way, looks clean. These are the wires they need to tap into. They're running some new wires up there as well, but this is essentially where the controllers are going to go. They're looking for the water pump right now, which I have no idea where that is. My gut tells me it's back there, but I don't know. Okay, so we are kind of watching them, looks like just run wires through. And correct me if I'm wrong, you already have replaced the panel up top.
Correct. This is the new one.
So the traditional panel's what, a 5-inch display?
5-inch, and this would be the 7-inch.
And this is the new 7-inch display. And that's actually a surprise to me. I did not think that this upgrade would also include a larger panel. Is there any difference in terms of functionality other than the size of the screen?
Oh, it's exactly the same.
Okay, cool deal. So if you have the smaller screen, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have less functionality if you have the OneControl system and it's wired into everything.
Absolutely. It's all
Good
the
deal.
same.
So what are you doing here today?
Well, we've added your slides to the Unity controller already. We just finished adding the awnings as well. What we're doing now is trying to check some wire runs to see if we'll be able to add any lights for you.
Very cool, very cool. And this will give me control from either the control panel here or my smartphone or the touchscreen.
Exactly.
Now, one quick question I have is, and I'm just trying to understand how the wires are ran. So the wire coming to this control panel comes from the battery or from the breaker box?
It'll be powered from the panel and then comes to the switch as an interrupter.
Okay.
And then when you activate the switch, it sends it from there to now the Unity board. Previously, it would have gone directly to the slide out.
Got it. So the Unity board is this intelligent kind of interface now to know whether you're pressing the physical button or you're going through it or you're using the screen up here.
Exactly.
Very
So
cool.
it'll be, original 12-volt signals going back and forth, or through the CAN network from the touchscreen,
Okay.
or via the app, also using the CAN network.
Very cool. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so quick status update on what we got going on here with the OneControl system. We got a lot of stuff going on today.
I'd say a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so the key here is they're trying to get as much of the factory systems wired into OneControl as possible. And we're learning very quickly that there's a reason why OneControl isn't offered as an aftermarket solution.
Yeah, there's just a lot of wires going in a lot of directions, so trying to locate them and then see what all can be pulled into the system and make it work. I think so far the status I just got from them is that all the slides will be on the system and your awnings as well, and now they're trying to figure out where
they can
all
do
the
lights.
light,
Yeah.
where all the light wires are to see if they can connect that.
Yep,
in.
and let me explain what we're talking about with light wires. So you can see a whole bank of light switches right there. Everything with a red sticker on it is a light switch. There are switches spread out all throughout the RV, just like really any other travel trailer or fifth wheel. The difference here is that there's no centralized hub where all the wires kind of meet. What I mean by that is when you look at like the Vanley Beacon that I did the review on, it had this spider control panel right there, and everything came to that panel. Every light wire, every piece of power in the RV was ran to that panel. And then all the light switches were actually wireless. So they all communicated with that panel to turn individual lights on and off. In this system, everything is wired, which means the light switches in this slide, the light switches on the back wall, the light switches above the stove, all of those have wires coming from the battery routed directly to those switches to the light. They're not going to a centralized area. Now, there are some light switches that are here. So there are some light switches that are ran right here, and they could tap into those because they're here. But to actually control these from over there means they would have to find the wires in the belly that specifically go to these controllers and then try to tie them in. And when I say that, there's light switches everywhere. There's light switches all over the place in this unit. And the wiring for those light switches all are independently ran from the battery to the breaker box to the light switch, and you have runs all over the place. So that's going to be the main challenge with trying to integrate all the lighting into this panel, and it may not be feasible to do. So they're going to evaluate that now to see what they can come up with. Okay, so right now Wes is installing a specific feature that this system has. It's a safety feature. Tanya, do you want to explain what it is?
Yeah, sure. So basically we're taking the brake light signal and we're tying it into the lockout input on the board, so that way when you're driving down the road, you won't be able, just as a safety feature, to run your slides in and out or your awnings in and out.
So if like my daughter has my phone and she's watching videos and she's like, hey, what's this cool OneControl app?
Right.
All of a sudden my slides won't be going out.
Nope, yep, exactly right.
Very cool, very thoughtful.
It's 6-year-old proof.
Yes. All right, so after a long couple of days, they finally got the system wired in place. Any major hiccups, or did it go pretty smoothly?
A few hiccups, but to be expected with OneControl system.
That makes sense. And OneControl is an Android-based operating system, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's good. So you're using a tried and true technology that's out there. So do you want to kind of go over what you've done, what you've tied in, and if you weren't able to tie things in, maybe explain why?
Sure. So we updated the screen. We had a 5-inch on here before, and now it's a 7-inch, so a little bit bigger, just the display size in general. But then also with the new screen comes the most updated version of our software. So now we go into devices. Instead of just having leveling like we did before, we were able to add in both awnings and all 4 slides. So now from the same places you could operate leveling before, you can also operate all of those things as well.
Very cool.
And we kept all the switch functionality. So if you didn't want to use this or you didn't want to use the app on your phone, you still have all the wall switch functions. We did look at tying in some of the lights to the screen as well, but just based on where they're ran, like on the OEM side, it's going to be a little bit trickier just to get it all down to the board. So another cool setting on here, you can go in and you can set favorites. So if there are certain slides that you run more often than other ones, or the ones that you always know, like to open up the kitchen area every time you come in. And then when you go back to your home screen, it'll be displayed there instead of having to go into the slide menu every single time.
Got it. Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So you could do that for, you could put all of them.
Yeah, I'll probably put all the slides there.
So that makes sense. Home. Down here at the settings, you have different diagnostics. Like if you have hiccups going on with the system, this is information that you can send in to Lippert, so that way we can see what's going on with your system. It'll send us an email with all that information.
Okay. And this is kind of similar to other Android-based devices where if you have a little bit of a hiccup, the first thing to do is probably just reboot the thing, right?
Yep, and you just do that by pressing the power button, and it'll give you the option to either power it off or reboot it, and then it'll come back up on its own. Kind of like a computer.
Yeah, we saw that with one of the awnings, right? It was just hiccuping a little bit, and we reboot it, and it works fine now.
Yeah. You can change your temperature. You can go in here and change the date, so it's not Saturday, January 1st, 1900.
And they have the ability to tie this into all sorts of things, from like the air conditioning units to the generator. The main disconnect here is literally the disconnect, that if all the wires for all of those different things had been wired up behind here, then it would have been simple. The challenge is everything's spread out throughout the entire RV. The AC thermostat wires are spread out into different areas. It doesn't make sense to try to reroute all the wiring that's in the underbelly over the ceiling and through the walls to bring it back to this. So I guess the best way of saying it is you've added the larger screen, which I really like. You've given me control over my slides, and we're going to show that over the smartphone application as well, because I think that's probably the most important thing for me, just so I can be outside and I can make sure a slide's not going to hit something if I'm opening it, because from in here, I'm kind of blind. I can't tell what's going on with any of the slides except for this main slide back here. So that's going to give me visibility there. I can still control my auto leveling and resync it and do all the stuff I need to do there. So that's really nice. I can imagine that was just simply plugging it in, because that was already a feature that was there.
We just tied it into the CAN circuit.
Yep. Aside from that, I don't really think there was much more that we added, right? So it was really the things that I was looking for, which is the slides, the leveling, and the awnings. And that's it.
All you got to do is download the OneControl app on your phone. Show you how to scan the board that we just put in. So we have another set of stickers with the SSID and the password on there.
Okay.
So you'll just scan it, and then we'll be able to connect, and your screen will look just like this.
Okay, so now I have my phone open. I am in the Play Store, and I looked up OneControl, and the very first choice that pops up is LCI OneControl. I'm going to go ahead and click that and install it. The OneControl app installed. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Agree to the terms and conditions. I guess I need to start with logging into the system.
So on the sticker, there's a couple bits of information that are important as far as connecting and downloading the OneControl app. The QR code that's on the sticker is actually just going to scan to take you to the App Store on your phone, so it'll help you download OneControl onto your phone. And then the information just below that will be specifically to connect the OneControl app to your system on your coach. So it'll be the password and PIN number on the sticker itself.
Okay, and I just typed in OneControl in the Play Store, and I was able to download the app.
Even easier, yeah.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and pair it to that and get going with the actual use function of it. We were able to get to the OneControl Setup Complete screen. So now what?
I'm going to go out of airplane mode. So continue to app. Now everything on here is the same thing as your OneControl touchscreen.
Very cool. So let's step outside, and we're going to see if we can't break something. Okay, we are now outside. The top two features are our awnings, the front awning and the rear awning. You want to go ahead and demonstrate that? Very cool. Okay, we should be able to pull that awning back in as well. When we talk about the convenience of being able to stand outside of your RV whenever you're in an area with heavy foliage, heavy trees and stuff around you, and be able to see exactly where all your stuff is landing. Let's check out the second awning. Very cool. So we're going to try to do the bedroom slide first, only because this is a prime example of why the system's important. I have the ability now to see when to stop opening this slide to avoid potentially making contact with the unit that's next to me. So she's going to go to bed slide, and now we can extend the slide. And no, let's push this one out all the way, because I want to see how close we are. Yeah, that was really close. Man, that is so close. I'm glad that that we were able to demonstrate this. I feel if it went out another inch, we'd probably knock this RV over. Oh, very cool. And then we have the other two slides that are partially open here. So you could always go into the galley slide. That will be on the other side, right? Oh, no, that's the galley slide. You can see it going out. Super cool. And then we can do the bunk slide. Oh, this is so cool. I'm very, very happy about this. All right. Y'all have outdone yourself, LCI team. This is exactly what I was looking for. This gives you that peace of mind. Again, when you're parked next to a tree that's kind of overhanging and you're like, man, I really don't want my slide to hit. Well, when you have this set up, you don't have to worry about it, because you can stand out here and visually inspect when things are happening, where they are, and how close you are before you might have to stop. So that was very, very cool. Very happy with that. Anyways, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, and give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.